Hey, what's up, y'all? It's poppin'. It's D. About to react to this vid by Playback. It's titled Nickmercs doubles down on controversial tweet. A few people have asked me to react to this. I have no idea who this is, but I'm already interested based on the fact that he has doubled down on what he said. I love when people do that. When people make a statement and a lot of people get upset for whatever reason and they come back and say, I said what the fuck I said. I still feel the same way. This is my goddamn opinion. I love it. Stand in your truth, okay? We're not always gonna agree on every fucking thing. That's the beauty of being different. Everybody's different. Everybody has different opinions. You don't have to agree with the fuck I'm saying. As long as I'm not being hateful and like disgusting and vile in what I'm saying, like you should just take it as it is, okay? Yeah, that's your opinion. But to like get upset and angry and oh, you're a horrible person because you feel that way, like people are very emotionally unintelligent and they don't understand that we're allowed to think differently and feel differently. That is okay. Just because what I'm saying doesn't make you feel all warm and gushy inside, that doesn't matter. It's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. We can have differences in opinions. And I don't understand it, but sure, let's see what he said. Watch it be something racist, and I'll be like, oh, actually, that's crazy. But let's see what he said.
Anti-LGBT protests attacked pro-LGBT demonstrators outside of Glendale, California school board meeting. School board is voting on recognizing June as Pride Month. Jesus, that's a fucking brawl, man. It's a brawl, man. Y'all here, brawl. So, because of that, of course, a lot of people had their own takes on this, you know what I'm saying? And Nickmercs had his own take as well. He responded with, they should just leave the children alone, man. That's the real issue. Of course, he got a lot of slander, so I want to give Nickmercs the benefit of the doubt. So let's hear his response.
I didn't like what I was seeing, man. Okay? I saw parents brawling in front of a fucking school with kids. I just didn't fucking like it.
Yeah,
a lot of you guys can understand how that view will piss some people off. It pissed me off. Okay. Now, I mean, full transparency. You know, I put this. I gotta be very, very careful here. I don't want to piss anybody off. I'm making a lot of people mad. Wasn't my intention. I mean, listen. My wife and I just had a baby. Brand new father. You know, we seen these kinds of videos. It's sad. You know. But her and I agree that we want to be the ones to talk to our kid about things like that. I'm trying to keep it really simple, just so we don't have to get too crazy about it, because there's nothing to get crazy about. It's just, it really is that simple.
I actually agree with that, okay, and I'm in the LGBTQ community, and I do agree that it should be left up to parents to discuss these type of things. I do think it's odd when sexuality, religion, things like that are discussed at school. Politics, this is not your place to speak about these things with my child, with my fucking 6-year-old child. Let me talk to them about these things. Why are you talking to them about it? They're gonna be like, oh, what's Pride Month? What's that? And I think it's odd to even have those conversations with other people's children.
I think I just have a bigger perspective on this now, being a parent, than I did maybe 2 months ago. So, you know, the video bothered me, right? And that's I just don't.
And yeah, having grown ass people out there fighting, that is embarrassing.
It's for a teacher or a school. I don't think it's the place to speak about things like that. It's not that I think that it shouldn't be spoken about. If that's what you got from that tweet, then you're just wrong. I don't have any quarrel with anybody in here. I don't have any quarrel with
I don't think that either. I'm not saying that it should not ever be discussed and keep. I'm just saying I don't think that needs to be discussed at school, especially when kids are so young and they're little and let's celebrate Pride Month. It's like, what? Let them fucking paint and teach them something. Teach them shit that they need to learn, not this other shit. The worldly shit, I think that should be left up to the parents to teach them.
And it wasn't an anti, I guess, gay tweet.
Someone in the chat said, but gay people have kids in school too.
What?
And so far, any thoughts? What would you say? So forth.
What he's saying is, bro, he wants to raise his kid the way he wants to raise his kid. This is prerogative. The problem is the school system is supposed to reflect what the area that it represents believes. Mm-hmm. So, like, for example, they already have health classes in schools, where they teach them about like how to take care of yourself, like your sexual health, etc., just so you don't get caught in any bad situations and stuff like that. But like, people are being more tolerant to LGBT activities, then it's gonna eventually be reflected in the board. Like, there's no amount of resistance that's gonna stop it. Like, if the area you live in, there's lots of representation for that and tolerance for that, it's gonna happen. So it's just a matter of, if you don't want your kid learning that from them or in general, then you just have to like homeschool them or something. I think what he said in this video, he's gonna say later, is you just have to agree to disagree. I think when it comes in the form of hate, it's wrong. You shouldn't hate nobody regardless. Like, hate shouldn't be coming from your heart regardless, especially for something that has nothing to do with you. Like, if somebody is,
I don't even think you have to homeschool them. Even when I was in school, this was never a topic of discussion. When I was a substitute teacher, this was never a topic of discussion. So I don't think that, whatever, let me just hear what they gotta say. I'll talk about it then.
That has nothing to do with you. You shouldn't have no hate in your heart for that. I don't see no hate from him. I just saw a simple statement about he wants to be the one to talk to his kids about stuff like that. Which, by the way, is what you should want from parents. There's so many parents that are entirely uninvolved from that entire situation, and the kid ends up learning everything by themselves. So, like, it's either they learn it from themselves, or they're taught it by their friends, or by the internet, or by their teachers, but they're taught it in so many ways that's not school, that it's funny that school is the only one we seem to give a fuck about. Because you can learn all these things online whenever you want. It's just they're picking and choosing when it should matter. I guess when it's sanctioned by the government and funded by taxpayer dollars, you don't want your taxpayer dollars going to something that you feel like should be taught by parents. If that's his argument, then I think that's a fair argument. But I think some people are using this as an excuse to just be hateful. I think those people are wrong. At the end of the day, like, for example, growing up in Canada, we weren't taught that. But if you go to school in Canada now, in Toronto now, they're 100% teaching stuff. Okay. 100%.
Okay,
I just, in the era I was growing up, they didn't teach things like this. But it's just the people are way more accepting now. People are way more accepting now. So
I don't know. My take on this is if it's supposed to represent the demographic of the community, I guess they're gonna have to teach combat classes so I'm getting busy out here. This is the problem though, and they did the same thing with like.
Asian is always drinking that shit. What is that? Is he
sponsored? When I was coming up and like sex ed was like a thing, they were
thinking about it?
No, it was already in, but they were like still trying to pull it out.
Okay.
And then I always thought to myself, what do parents think that they're teaching us in sex ed? Or they think they're teaching us like doggy and stuff like that? Like I don't understand. Like, what do they think they're being taught? So I always wonder when people like this, what do they think they're being taught about, the LGBT community and gay people, et cetera, et cetera? Because I'm pretty sure it's not teaching men how to suck penises. I'm pretty sure that's
so that's right. Obviously. I guarantee for the majority of classes, it's not.
It's not that.
But nigga, I saw a clip on Twitter of this teacher was trying to explain how the men's prostate was in their ass and how you can get sex toys at Target.
Is where the prostate is. So you don't have to go inside the booty hole. You can actually just push on the seam, and that's
the booty hole
as well. And that they apparently really like that.
See, you're doing too fucking much. I don't want you teaching my children this. This is the problem. You doing too goddamn much. You're straying from the curriculum. The fuck?
Yeah, so that's why for male and male, anal sex is still very pleasurable.
Yeah, you know
because of the fact that it hits the prostate, and there's a lot of nerve endings in your booty as well. So the girls, the G-spot, prostate, they're the equivalent to each other, but apparently that's why if you ever see, Target has them now, sex toys. If you go to Target, seriously.
She's doing too much.
They just look like a little box, but if you open up
you're doing a lot, sis.
Box, you open it up, and then bam, sex toy.
Oh no, see now that's see now.
And in my head I was like, technically that's biology. Like you're just telling
them.
I didn't even know they had them there, bro. That's insane.
Really?
Playback trip?
No. We're gonna get sex toys together.
Facts, man. Why don't we do something like that?
They got sex toys at Target? I ain't never seen it. What section is that in?
So
Not that I want it because I don't.
Thinks that they're going
they don't do
to
nothing
teach
for me.
in school about
that's why.
About gay people and LGBT, et cetera, et cetera. I wonder what they go because I think what ends up happening is that they think that they're going to teach them or indoctrinate them about being gay, but the reality is that when sex ed was in our classes, it was way more about, like you said, like our health, STDs, how to wear a condom, things that have like statistical backing that aids the process in younger adults and teenagers not making certain decisions that could cost them down the road because they were taught correctly. In the states and cities, especially in the South, that do not have sex ed or sex ed is not a requirement, you can see STD rates are much higher. You can see pregnant numbers go up as well with teenagers and young adults as well. Those are higher as well. Like things that potentially could have been taught at a certain age are higher. And I'll give Nickmercs the benefit of the doubt that he's going to take the time out to teach his kids. But most of the people who say these things don't end up doing that. And if anything, they push it aside. Or even if they do, they teach them in a very ignorant manner. So you have people still running around being ignorant as they continue to age. Because quiet is kept. Their own father and mom don't know that much about the LGBT community as well. So they're being taught from a place of ignorance instead of a place of facts. But I don't understand, like, when I hear this, I'll be thinking to myself, like, they think they're going to teach them about, like, how to be gay? Like, I'm so confused. What do they think is going to be taught? Because when I hear this, I think that this is going to be a form of acceptance, better history being taught from that community, so you have a better understanding of what people in that community may have accomplished over the past, 100 to 200 years. The history behind, being anti-gay in America and why the level of bigotry should not be accepted anymore. Certain laws that have been set in place. That's what I believe. I think it's going to be like a historical teaching, the same way they teach about black people's history. But it's not like when Black History Month rolls around and they'll be teaching them how to be black. Like, that's not
the problem with that is even Black history is taught differently depending on where you live.
No, that is also true.
So I feel like a lot of it is in the execution of how it's done, because I've seen some clips online of niggas being suspended because they didn't participate in whatever event they had at that school for Pride Month. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, well, you shouldn't be suspending kids for not wanting to participate unless the kid is being hateful in some way. I think, it just depends on how it's executed. And you're relying on the government and the teachers, which are severely overworked and underpaid, to be the ones executing on it. And before any of this, I just wouldn't, if you could afford to, I just don't get why you wouldn't just homeschool your kid or put them in a private school, because I just wouldn't trust that is going to be done properly. Now, you could always go through their homework, ask them what they learned that day, take a look at, do they still have agendas in school?
Yeah.
look at their agenda and shit like that.
They might be online now.
Yeah, they might have had a Google Calendar nowadays.
Yeah, back in the day, the hand right there.
Yo, they just let you go home unless you wrote down what you had to do for homework.
And then, if you miss a couple of days, that's why I used to be bad back in the day. So I used to miss some homework. They'd be like, you need to have your mom sign this so we know that she getting this, because apparently there's a disconnect going on in the household. So now I get to sign off. We learned about male prostates now.
So here's the thing that's fucked up. This conversation has changed, right? Nick obviously isn't wrong in what he said. I think Call of Duty is almost using him as an example so that they can look good. Because in recent history, they've looked pretty bad. Activision has looked pretty bad. And I think they're using this as an opportunity to bounce back and recover and say, like, look,
Yeah, that's wild, because I don't think he even said anything too wild.
Oh, we are about acceptance and tolerance.
He didn't say anything too controversial at all. I'm confused.
See, that's why I hate when they companies do that.
So that's the thing we refuse to acknowledge. Like Activision doesn't care either, but they think if it's going to make them money, they're going to pretend to care. Yeah. That's what businesses do. They're going to pretend to care if they think it's going to make them money. And in this case, they're just using Nickmercs as a ploy so that they can pretend like they give a fuck. They don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck.
So pulling Nickmercs' skin out of the store is, in my opinion, just a severe overreaction to something that most people believe. Most people should believe that their parents should play a very big role in how they're taught things. Not just when it comes to sex ed stuff, but when it comes to all things that's relevant to stuff they're going to need in life. Their parents should be with them, guiding them, making sure they're not watching the wrong things online and things of that nature. Parental oversight is super necessary in the growth of any fucking child. And so,
but the problem though is that he said, and he did correct himself, but the problem he said that you need to leave the children out of it, implying that children should never be taught in period.
But that's
but that's not his opinion, because he said that he will teach his children. It would just be from him.
Oh, so he's saying the teachers shouldn't play a role.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. That's what I'm saying. He should not have said.
Is that bad take?
No, I'm not saying it is. What I'm saying is when you first say that the children should be left out of it, it's implying that the children should never be taught it. He's saying that the children should be taught it. I'm the one who's going to do it. That's what he should have said in the beginning. These are things that I want to be able to teach my children on my own, and that's what he later said. And if Nickmercs really believes that, and that's what he's going to do with his child, then applaud to him. But the reality is that most don't do that.
So yeah, this has become a very like
divisive.
Yeah, and it shouldn't really be. And here's what I'm starting to understand. I think when
we're giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Like I watch the streams a lot.
He doesn't.
The only person he hates is bad developers.
Yeah, he doesn't sound hateful.
Yeah,
I don't know him though, but he doesn't sound like there's a lot of hate in his heart.
No, he seems like a very wholesome dude.
For sure.
Okay, but like we give fucking Fresh and 50 Minutes of the Doubt a week ago.
And
those niggas don't deserve this.
Exactly. But a lot of people benefit out, man.
So look, I think what shouldn't happen though is intolerance to different opinions about how to go about life. I think if Nick is saying that he wants to raise his kids away, people should immediately call that hate if what he said wasn't hateful. You're almost assuming the hate is there, and it might be for some people, but I think an incorrect assumption is what's dangerous. It's almost like, and we see this so often, you say something that people don't agree with, and then people almost like want to destroy you for disagreeing with them. Yeah. And if that's not the picture perfect definition of what intolerance looks like, then I don't know what it is. So if you're trying to combat intolerance with intolerance, then I mean, like, I guess that's one approach to do it. I was watching a video from Pootie, who went to the most racist town in America to talk to one of the most racist men in America. And one of the things he said that blew my mind was
the only solution is radicalism.
So would you consider yourself a radicalist?
Very much.
And in my head, I thought, like, damn, so, like, we're becoming, society's becoming this thing where, like, if this group doesn't agree with an opinion you have, it, like, casts you out and, like, almost want to destroy and shame you. Like, we sit there and call it cancel culture, but why are we not more tolerant to people's opinions? Like, this is, like, in America is supposed to be the example of what different types of people living together should be like. And it really, in reality, it's not. No. It's like, I don't know. But
in their mind, his opinion is based in ignorance and bigotry.
Hate, most importantly.
That's why.
How can you sit there and listen to the words he said and call it hateful?
Exactly.
They're almost arguing that there's hateful undertone, like they're assuming there's hateful undertone, and they're operating based on that assumption.
The way he understands the situation is very similar to like the Norman stance, and that's why right-wing agitprop is very nefarious. What do I mean by this? Because the right have basically turned this conversation of like acceptability and acceptance and like trying to stop kids from getting bullied for being different into a conversation that is entirely separate from reality. It's unmarried from reality. It basically has turned into if there are some of these kids are going to be gay, some of these kids are going to be queer, and it's perfectly normal. And schools becoming a more accepting environment for that sort of thing is a perfectly normal situation. But right-wingers took that and basically said, oh, that means they're trying to groom your children into being gay, groom your children into being trans. That's definitely a real thing that can happen, and schools are desperately trying to do that. So, and that's not true. And that's just, it could not be far away. It is just completely and objectively untrue.
I can assume that based on his first tweet, after him explaining it, though. Because at first he's making it seem like they should never be taught about gay people. Now he's saying no, that they should. It's just that it should be up to me.
The tide is eventually going to look. So basically the point is like, if you have an opinion that differs from the average, you're cooked.
I don't feel like he was saying
that.
But you can't say that.
I've said it already.
No. See, but you're about to be outcast.
And Curry's also better than Kobe.
I'll beat the fuck out of you.
Whoa!
I will beat the shit out of you. I will cancel you, nigga.
What's wrong with you?
I will cancel you.
The problem is that you're not even trolling either. That's the problem.
Yo, do not agree with like say some shit like that. I'm not accepting that partial opinion, but there's one opinion I'm not gonna accept. Steph is better than Kobe. That's impossible.
Okay, so alright, that's the one.
That's the one.
Alright, Kobe's not talking. I really wonder what they think is going to be taught. Because it's not going to be...
He trolling. I'm going to shut up.
They're not going to teach you how to do a rim job. They're not going to teach you how to do a dirty sandy. They're not going to teach you about gay clubs. They're not going to teach you about...
I don't think most people with common sense think
these are all the gay bars, guys. All right, pop quiz. What gay bar is on 42nd Street? That's not how it's going. Yeah, our school field trip, yeah. When we're going to Bulldogs, that's not how it goes. Don't touch now, don't touch. Just look. That right there.
I think really stupid people think that, but I don't think that's what Nick was saying at all.
You like that?
Let me know how y'all feel about it.
This is very stupid. I honestly thought he was going to say something far worse. I don't think it was that serious whatsoever. People just want to be upset about anything. It's very sad. People are miserable. It's not that deep. He's just saying that he wants to teach his own children about sexuality, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think sexuality, politics, religion, all of that should be left up to the parents to teach their children, especially if they said little kids. So I'm thinking fucking 6, 7, 8. Like, I don't think it's necessary to push Pride Month on them. Like, I think that is kind of pushing that on them. I don't see the point. But don't listen to me. I'm a different type of gay. I don't even celebrate Pride Month. I didn't even know it was Pride Month until very recently. Because I just don't think it's that big of a deal who you choose to fuck. That is your business. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? I feel like we're honestly in a time where most people don't care. They don't care. Of course, there are hateful, homophobic people. There are hateful, racist people. Of course, they exist. But for the most part, I think people do not care. That is your business. Why is it being this big thing? It's not that serious. I don't celebrate Pride Month. I also don't celebrate fucking Black History Month. I don't... Well, how am I supposed to celebrate? I just am black and I fuck who I fuck and that's nobody's business. I don't make it this big thing and I just don't also believe in it being made a big thing and being taught to kids. Like I just think it's a bit odd, but that's my opinion. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought. Let me know what other videos you want me to watch and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.